Good morning, Miss Neville Science students. Here is your pre-recorded lesson as we delve deeper into talking about severe weather systems. We want to remember that there are three types of severe weather systems that we need to know about as sixth grade meteorologists in South Carolina, and those are tornadoes, hurricanes, and thunderstorms. So today we're going to talk about two of those severe weather systems, hurricanes and tornadoes. You'll have an assignment today after our live session concludes where you're going to be working to use the notes that you have to compare and contrast hurricanes and tornadoes. Our learning objective for today is to be able to use models to explain how severe weather systems like hurricanes and tornadoes are created. Let's get started. So as we're looking here, you're going to draw this diagram in your notes, and you want to take some time here to please draw this. If you need to pause me, you definitely may. So as we look here, we see this diagram. You want to make sure you label this diagram as you'll be using it later on to help with one of your graded assignments. When we're talking about, and I'm going to be writing on this picture as well, as we're talking about how a hurricane forms, it's important for us to know that it happens over warm ocean water at about 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the tropical region. So hurricane season usually lasts from June, July to October, November, because that's when the waters of the tropical region are the most warm. So once that warm water is there, it starts to cause these waters, the ocean water, to evaporate. That evaporated heated water vapor, it rises. Remember, heat rises. And those winds start coming together and force air upward. Remember, this happens during a low pressure system. So with low pressure, remember, the air is turning and sucking up, creating that vacuum here over the water. So that warm air is rising, okay, and those wet winds are coming together, step 2. Step 3, the winds flow outward above the storm and blow the air below to rise. So we're going to start to see a circulation here of wind and water. We're going to start to see a circulation here of wind and water. And as we're looking at that circulation, step 4, the humid air. That word humid means moist or wet air. The humid air starts to rise, making storm clouds. These storm clouds that you'll need to draw are thick gray clouds. Are cumulonimbus clouds or thunderheads. Then step 5, these light winds outside the hurricane steer it and let it grow. So we'll see the storm becomes more powerful, and it starts to spin. And we want to make sure we understand that hurricanes lose power as they go closer to land. Yes, they're most powerful. They're most being fed by the warm waters of our ocean. So when there's no longer that warm water at the base of our hurricane, it starts to get weaker. However, a lot of damage is caused in that time because hurricanes can last for so long. So look at this hurricane GIF here. What do you notice? Did you say this looks like a tornado on water? Absolutely. They're very closely related, and we're going to talk today about comparing and contrasting hurricanes and tornadoes so we can compare how closely related they are. So let's start talking about tornadoes. How do tornadoes form? Now, here in South Carolina, we don't get tornadoes as much as we get hurricanes, okay? But tornadoes, I would tell you to do some research on the tornado alley in the United States. The tornadoes are actually much more prevalent or seen the most in certain areas. So this is the second big picture you're going to draw. And a picture of this is in Schoology as well under notes. How do tornadoes form? You don't have to write these words here. The words that I cross out, you don't have to write. What's important for you to recognize here is these big clouds that we see here are cumulonimbus clouds, just like we saw in our hurricane. It's important for us to know that tornadoes form over land. Tornadoes form under land. You'll also notice here that we see those low-level winds here. We see that heat rising. Remember, this is a low. That's why Ms. Neville's writing in red today. This is a low pressure system. And we'll also see here thunderstorms, okay? You'll even see it says a tornadic thunderstorm, okay? Cumulonimbus clouds occur with thunderstorms, okay? We'll notice here, we don't need to know about the main updraft or that wall cloud. We'll notice here that that spinning that you see here, there's a lot more happening above that tornado that's feeding it. We need to know that tornadoes too happen when it's hot, when the ground is heated, when the air above it is heated, and just like with an occluded front, when cold air, represented by these blue arrows, quickly mix in together with that warm air. When cold and warm accidentally mix, breaking the law of convection, this causes tornadoes to form. So let's compare and contrast hurricanes and tornadoes. Please draw this Venn diagram, please. So hurricanes and tornadoes. Hurricanes on their own, remember we put the different characteristics that they don't share in their own unique bubbles. And then where the two bubbles intersect, these are the characteristics that both of these severe weather systems share. So when we're looking at hurricanes here, they form over warm water. The greatest damage here comes from storm surges and flooding. They lose speed and power over land. Hurricanes are predictable. Hurricanes are predictable, okay? And they're big and they can last for days. They're slower. We'll notice here that tornadoes are in a lot of ways, they're very opposite from hurricanes. One big way is because they occur over land. They form over land, usually. Their greatest damage doesn't come from storms and flooding, but from their powerful winds that come with them. And sometimes they only last seconds. So they are very fast, very unpredictable, and very quick, usually. We also want to make sure we write here that both of them have high-speed winds. They have that in common. And they both occur from a low pressure system. We also want to make sure we know that cumulonimbus clouds occur here in this center with both of these storms. We're going to see those large, big, fat, gray thunderhead clouds. They're going to be with both of those. So we're putting that in the middle as well. I look forward to seeing all of you in class today. Please watch this recorded lesson. Pause it, rewind it as you need to. I'll see everyone in soon. Bye-bye.